she goes to me, don't freak out. Like, you can do something in the arts.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's she talking about? Like, how can I make money from art?
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
You know, and like, we've never heard that before.
It's a foreign concept to
That's
us
right,
ethnic
man.
children. Yeah.
Right? So, especially when you find yourself in something,
Okay.
right? Photography is my passion.
Powered by WinLads.
Welcome to Under the Coconut Tree with Tanila, where we interview some pretty funky humans doing some pretty funky stuff. Today, keeping in line with the tropical theme, we have Chamika Bandara all the way from Dreadlocks. How you going, Matt?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Keeping busy?
You? Yeah, keeping busy. Just
Busy
got back
is
from Lanka.
Lanka?
Yeah.
How long were you in Lanka for?
2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And you went by yourself, with family?
No, I went with family.
Okay.
Went with my wife and 2 kids.
Okay, cool. How was
yeah.
that experience?
It was very good. It was
Yeah.
very good. I loved seeing the kids saw Lanka for the first time.
First time for them?
First time. And for me and Danica, it's been 10 and 12 years since we've gone back.
That's a while.
So-
That's probably before the dreadlocks, right?
I had dreadlocks, but...
I got you thinking now.
Nah, not in Lanka.
Yeah,
No.
right.
And then I had dreadlocks, and then I cut them, and then I grew them again, and then I cut them again, and now I've got them for good.
So, plans for the next trip yet or not just yet?
We haven't planned it, but we would like to go back very
To
soon.
Sri Lanka?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome,
Very
man.
soon. Yeah.
But yeah, we have
When's
so much to unpack with you as
When's
well.
the last time you went?
Me, Sri
Yeah.
Lanka? Oh, man. I went 2019 for my cousin's wedding.
Yeah.
I went with my mum and my dad. And funnily enough, I ended up emceeing the wedding.
Yeah, of
like
course.
impromptu.
Standard.
And then giving a speech in Singlish.
Yeah.
Which I hope they enjoyed. They laughed. I don't know if they laughed because they're like, I don't know what this guy speaking English is saying, or they laughed because it was funny.
Yeah.
But great little trip, 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
And yeah, the food's the best.
The food's the best, man.
I eat everything on the street.
You come back so much heavier.
Yeah, I know, man.
So good.
It's the best. It's like if anyone wants to like carbo load or put
Oh,
on weight,
man. You go to Lanka.
Go to Lanka.
Send them to Lanka.
kot roti on the
Yeah,
street,
that's right.
fried rice on the street.
They're
What's the
fine.
other? Kitul pani.
Oh, man, don't start.
Mouth's gonna start watering,
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
But thank you so much for coming on, man. Like, I have so many questions to ask you, and we've known each other for so many years.
Preschool, man.
Preschool. I know,
This-
kinder,
this
right?
is- Kinder?
Was it kinder? What's before? I don't even know. But
Preschool,
we were like
right?
3 or 4 years
Preschool,
old.
Kinder, whatever. Yeah, exactly.
So it's been a few decades. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
You know, leave it unanimous for
That's
the public.
right.
But man, you've done some pretty cool stuff, and I've watched you both from close and also from afar, because we've kind of always intertwined our lives.
That's right,
We've done a
yeah.
lot of things together. So it's kind of special to have you on the podcast because
man.
I've known you for so long, and I don't know many people for as long as I've known you. You know, 3 decades is a long time, and
Yeah,
I've seen
it is.
all the stuff you've done, all the goofy shit you've done,
Yeah.
all the cool shit you've done, and the success that you've done, and now you're obviously happily married with 2 beautiful kids.
Thanks, man.
But I guess I want to unpack what led you down this trajectory, because you didn't follow this typical Sri Lankan, Australian, or migrant career / uni / studies path, did you?
Yeah, no. And look, that wasn't by choice as well. I think, so, I didn't know what I wanted to do. That's the truth, right? Growing up, being first gen here, right, we kind of only knew there was an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, and an accountant, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much what we knew. And, growing up in the high school kind of era, very early high school, I was like, okay, cool, I've got to study and do my shit, right? And then slowly I learned I'm not that good at doing
Study.
that stuff, right?
What is Pythagoras?
We got to that point and I was just like, all right, cool, count me out.
Yeah, okay,
right?
gotcha. And how old were you then when you were like, this is not for me?
So, well, even in primary school, I realized I'm the only dumbass that can't remember my timetables.
Yeah,
Right? But I was always able to kind of mask it, get through it,
Yeah, okay.
put my hands behind my back, use my fingers,
Yeah, like
figure it
fake
out.
it till you make it.
Fake it, right?
Yeah.
I faked it. And then I got to high school and then I worked a little bit harder and I was keeping up, but I had to work so hard to keep up.
Yeah.
And then I got to year 9 and I realized, hey, there's all this extra crap to do.
Not just like books.
Not just study,
Study,
right?
yeah.
And I started figuring out I can skip school here and there.
That's the Chamika I remember.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. See?
What are you doing in Glenvale,
That's
Chamika?
right. So I figured out I can skip school here and there. And, from that point, it went pretty bad, pretty quick. because
Tell me more. I think I'm curious to unpack this.
and I was basically skipping school whenever I could. I was just having fun, man.
Yeah.
I was
What
having
were
a
you
lot of
doing
fun.
when you skipped school? I never skipped school.
Really?
Dude, I'm a nerd.
I'd go, man, I was terrible. I was terrible. Like some of the stuff that I did, now as a dad, I'm like, I hope my kids don't do this stuff.
All the dumb shit that you
All
do.
the dumb stuff. And it's not even like the dumb stuff, the conniving little things that you do just to like, if I'm gonna wag school, I need money. So what do? I Photoshop this consent form, get some money from my parents to go on for this excursion. Go on this excursion, and being an adult, terrible things to do. Yeah, but
a 20 is a 20.
That's right.
And back then, that was about 15 Big Macs.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So so I'd get some money and just go to Chatty, and that's the thing. I think I had a couple of friends that were also like, yeah, man, let's do it. Let's go. Yeah.
Would you say they were bad influences, good influences?
I think they were the same kind of people person that I was, where they were just like...
A different trajectory.
Yeah, they were, and all of them are very successful now as well, right? It's just, we weren't good at study.
That's the typical thing, yeah.
We were just never good at it, right? And we just found out that we can fill that time by doing other things, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, and then year 12 came and flunked out real hard, man.
What does flunk out real hard mean?
Oh man, like I remember, so at this point I was like, okay, cool, like I hope I can become an engineer because, that's probably my only option, and I hope I've done everything correct to get this, Man, engineering, you need at least like 70s?
I have no idea.
At least, all right? Yeah. I don't know, but I got my results and I opened it and I remember seeing 40, like 42, 47. I can't even remember what it is.
Yeah.
But I was shattered. I was like, what do I do with my life?
Were you scared to tell your parents?
Well, I opened it in front of my parents.
Okay, so
because like it is what it is, right?
I was terrified.
So I guess, look, that's the good thing I had with my parents. Like I could always tell them what's happening. And even when I got in trouble, like they weren't too bad. They were just like, why? Explain it. They really just wanted to understand what's going on with me and why.
Your dad's a bit of a hero, though.
My dad's cool, man.
My
dad's cool, and even my mom, like they're all right like that. They're not like, oh, I'm gonna beat you up till you do what we want.
Yeah, okay.
They're just like we don't understand what's going on and why you're being like this, but tell us, right?
Talk to us.
That's what they really wanted all the time, and I'm blessed to have that, right?
Because not many, I guess, brown kids have that, man.
That's right.
Especially first gen like us.
Yes, right? But that didn't stop them from putting their foot down and being like, no, you're not hanging out at the shops today.
Yeah.
But I would be like, okay, cool. Go to school, not go to school, hang out at the shops. I'd still get my way. Right? Yeah. So I'd still get my way whether they agreed or not.
Yeah.
Right? And anyway, and we got the results and I was like, crap, what do I do? Yeah. So that was probably the moment I realized I can't do anything mainstream, right? And even then, I didn't really realize then. I was just like, what are my options, right? And luckily for me, I was actually... See, this is why I got away with a lot of stuff in high school. I was really good with my teachers. Because I was good.
You're a nice guy.
I'm a nice guy.
You're a nice guy, yeah.
I'd like to think so. I'm a nice guy, right?
Yeah. Like, Mum would say all these things like, you should be more like Chamika.
Yeah,
I'm like,
no, thank God you weren't. All right?
At least when I was younger.
Yeah. Thank God you weren't, right? Because, look, you're doing great.
As a human, we're going to unpack this soon.
All right? So, anyway, and then my media teacher called me.
Right.
And she goes, how'd you do? And I said, I did terrible. And she goes, yeah, well, you're not good at any of that stuff, right? But what did you do good in? And I was like, I did well in media.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, you should have done viscom, should have done art, you should have done all those
That's
subjects.
all the creative, artsy kind of stuff.
Right? Because they knew, like, that's what I was good at.
That's how your brain worked.
Right?
Okay.
So, and she goes to me, don't freak out. Like, you can do something in the arts. Yeah. And I was like, what's she talking about? Like, how can I make money from art?
Yeah,
right?
There you go.
You know, and like we've never heard that before.
It's a foreign concept to us ethnic children. Yeah.
Right. So I was kind of just like, all right, cool. What are you thinking? And she's like, all right, cool. So apply for this. Apply for photo school. Apply for, film school, and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then I sussed it out. I need to get a folio together, do all that, and I did that. I got in, started studying film. And then did that, and then moved on to photography, and whilst all that was happening, I picked up a camera and started shooting with one of my friends.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, and
it wasn't like DSLRs or SLRs back then, was it?
It was.
It was? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was. And, you know, that was the time when we were like dancing and doing all these like concerts and things like that.
MJ dances.
Yeah, that's right.
I
and
mean,
you were a great dancer.
You had a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Right?
You were a dancer. I remember this.
Right?
Yeah.
We used to do all that stuff. That
all
was
the community concerts.
all the fun artsy stuff, right?
They were great fun, man.
We were into that stuff. Yeah. Do you still dance?
No, I don't dance anymore, man. I try to save the embarrassment.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, and stick to my lane.
We've never progressed.
We've never progressed.
Yeah, that's
I still dance the same way I danced when I was 15. And
that's
I thought I was
right.
a hero.
Me too, man. Yeah. And it looks a bit weird now.
It looks a bit weird now.
A bit old now.
Yeah, a bit old
to be
now.
dancing like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, one of our friends that we used to dance with, and then we started just taking photos for fun, and we would like put it up, make these short videos. And it kind of got traction.
You did a few photo shoots, man.
Yeah, I did some photo shoots for fun, and you know, and then someone once came up to us and said, "Hey, can you photograph my engagement or wedding?" Engagement. It was an engagement.
Yeah.
And then we're like, "Yeah, all right, cool."
Yeah.
Photographed it, and then a lot of people were like, "Hey, man, the photos
really
were
good.
great." Yeah. So, and this was all whilst I was studying.
Yeah.
And then a couple of other people were like, "Oh, would you do my 21st?" Right? And then
okay.
me and my mate, we were like, "Should we be charging for this? Like what?"
Oh, so you did the first ones for free?
Yeah, like we didn't really think anything of this,
You're
right?
just like you're doing a favor or whatever.
Yeah, right? And then we were like, "Should we be charging for this? Like what's
Yeah.
going on?" And then we're like, "Okay, cool." And we started charging like a little bit of money. So it was like a side hustle.
Yeah, so you're
Right?
making an extra few $100 here and there, right?
Exactly, right? And we both had our own, you know, like he was studying law, I was studying photography, and we both had our little part-time jobs and everything.
What was your part-time job?
Roger David at that time.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you working at Roger David.
Yeah, in the city, Burke Street. All right.
You always had a good dress sense, I remember that.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Thanks. A lot more cash now. Back then, I used to kind of dress up a little.
Who cares now? You're married now. But you look
That's
great.
right. Thanks, man. And then, and then we were like, all right, cool, let's just charge for this, yeah?
Yeah.
That was weekend work, and during the week we'd do our normal work. And then slowly it started to become a thing where it was taking over our weekdays and, you know, all that. And we were making more money from that than we were doing our part-time little job, right?
Yep.
And then without realizing, we registered a business name and we started running it as a business. And not that we had any business knowledge, right?
You're just two guys that were good at taking pictures and editing pictures.
That's
and
right.
you loved it.
And we loved it, right? And then, over the years it became a business, and it went on to, and then we had another business partner join us, which also came from the corporate world.
Yeah, right.
And he quit his job and basically loved taking photos, so joined us.
Yeah.
And then, and we went on to do about 320 weddings a year. So
see, that's wild, man. In a year?
No, not in a year.
Oh, sorry.
So it took to get to that point, it took us about maybe 4 years.
Oh, but you're doing, at that point, you did 320 weddings in a year.
In a year.
That's almost one a day.
Yeah. Because we started to bring on other people.
Because you hired, like, people to take pictures.
We hired people, and then we would split up, and, you know, each of us would basically direct a wedding, each of, like,
dude, I mean,
the whole team.
just on those numbers alone, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. So it became something that we never...
It's a behemoth, yeah.
It was
seemed
crazy.
like you found, like, a niche of, like, quality.
Yeah, I guess...
other people weren't hitting, or...
Yeah, I don't know what it was, like, but you look, like, we really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I think we saw it from a different perspective.
Yeah, okay.
And...
Different lens, you mean?
Different lens.
That's so bad.
Right, and we enjoyed capturing it, and I think a lot of it was we liked hanging out, us three as well.
Okay, cool.
Right, we really enjoyed...
'Cause you're mates, yeah.
Yeah, we're mates, and we enjoyed the time we had together, and we created something out of nothing.
Yeah.
And it was really cool, man, and, you know, we were doing this huge little project, and without realizing it was our, you know, our...
It's huge, because it's taken off... Like, yeah, because you
business
guys did my 21st.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you guys did my 21st. You were at my 21st.
Yeah.
You got up to some mischief at my 21st. Yeah.
I used to get up to a lot of mischief, man.
Yeah, I specifically remember at my 21st, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chamika Bandara. So I don't know if you remember, but I had a few groups of mates, and it was a big 21st. There was probably like 200 people at that party, right?
Yeah, you know a lot of people.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, but like they were there, and then I had my Danny boys, which is you boys, and then I had my uni boys, and my uni boys and my Danny boys didn't get along. Yeah. They just didn't like each other.
And until this day, I don't know why.
Yeah. But Chamika thought it would be a good idea to punch one of my other friends.
I didn't punch anyone.
Oh, you didn't punch anyone?
No, I didn't punch anyone.
So who punched someone?
I don't know who punched.
We're finally getting to the bottom of this from 10 years ago.
It heated up.
It heated up. But there was a bit of an altercation because I remember I pulled you away.
Yeah.
And then I was like, we can't do this.
Yeah, because it was your birthday, and that's why I didn't punch anyone.
Oh, okay. So maybe somebody. I just remember there was an altercation then. So my bad. It was like some kind of altercation.
There was a lot going on.
But I do remember it wasn't instigated by you guys.
No.
It wasn't. I know that for a fact. No. Yeah, okay, cool.
I never instigated anything.
Yeah, I just finished.
Hey man, I'm a good boy.
But then, so eventually, the business called Ferndara, which everyone knows, which is partially your name as well, because Chamika Bandara.
Yeah.
It became something quite huge. You're doing so many weddings, engagements, and everything.
Yeah.
But then it got to a point where
I exited.
I exited. That caught me by surprise.
Yeah. So
what led to that, man?
After 10 years of doing the same thing, Tanila, like, especially when you find yourself in something, right? Photography is my passion, right? What I would say more was my passion, right? And when you find yourself in a business and it was never intended to be a business and you're now locked in this niche of weddings, right? As you progress, you're like, am I enjoying this? Am I really enjoying this anymore? Yeah. Or am I just doing this now because it's paying the bills and it's, it's something that's done well and it's going.
You got a reputation.
Right? And it's going.
And you're good at it.
Yeah, right? But am I really enjoying it? And for me, being happy is a really big deal, right? And
this is awesome, man. Yeah.
Right? And I don't, I'm not someone that needs a lot, right? But
you're doing financially or just...
Financially, materialistic, I don't really care about too much, right? But I need to be doing the things that I love, right? And if I'm not happy.
Yeah.
And once I'm not happy, I'm so moody, down, I'm probably the worst person to be around if I'm not happy. And everyone always says, you're always smiling, you're always like this, you're always like that, good energy. But if I'm not happy, none of you are going to get that, right?
Okay,
I just can't be that. And it came to that point.
Because sick and tired of
because you can also imagine the amount of work that we were doing to be able to do that, right?
The post is wild, I've heard.
That's right. And on top of that, one of our business partners left, right?
That's a lot of workload then, yeah.
Yes, correct. And he also left because he was getting burnt out. It was just a lot of work, right?
Man, weddings are 7-8 hours of shooting time.
That's right.
The post is triple.
Exactly. So and when you're taking on that much work, right, where do you really sleep? Where do you eat? Where do you start taking care of yourself?
Do you feel like you were physically deteriorating?
Yeah, I was. And I wasn't prioritizing eating well either. And that's something, as you and me used to have push-up challenges and pull-up challenges. We bonded over that. Yeah. That's something I really care about, right?
Fitness was big, man. We both did martial arts.
Yeah, exactly, bro. We love that stuff, right? So I felt like a lot of that stuff was I was losing a lot of that side of me. And then I also asked the question of when I'm married, what's my life going to be like? Yeah. If I'm working like this.
Always. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it came to the point where the question was do we pull back and we do less work or what is it? Yeah. And, when there's 3 people involved, everyone has their own view because you grow with the business and you grow into 3 different people as well.
So you can have opinions that might not necessarily align.
Yeah, that's right, right? And we're all still friends and everything. Yeah. But, one of us wanted to continue it that way.
Yeah.
And then for me, I noticed I actually enjoy more of the commercial side of things, the creative, doing products, marketing, that kind of side.
And that led you to
creative agency.
Creative agency,
right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so my first thing was, okay, I want to change my lifestyle.
Okay.
So and that was around the time where I got married to Danica.
Yep.
Right. And I was like, okay, cool. I don't want my weekends to be gone anymore, because I sacrificed a lot in my 20s.
Yeah.
You could imagine weekends.
Did you save a lot of the money as well to prepare yourself, or was it not really? Okay.
No, I was young.
Yeah.
Dumb. Yeah,
always,
young and dumb. Like,
but,
you go out and you're just like, who wants shots?
You get
all right.
who wants shots?
Yeah, you know.
I haven't heard that in many years.
Right. So I lived a very fun 20s life.
You did, man. Yeah, I was there. I was there for most of it,
right?
Bro. Yeah.
So we had fun, right? We had a lot of fun, and but life only became serious for me when I realized I wanted to marry Danica.
Yeah. Okay.
That's when I was like, all right, cool. Like, how do I make this happen? What do I need to do?
Let's take a segue. What made you want to marry Danica? Because I've known you for many years.
Yes.
And
I wasn't very marriage.
No, that's not the part I was going. I was going down the part of Chamika knew a lot of women. Is the part that I was going to say.
Here we go.
And Chamika used to give me a lot of advice because I'd be like, "Hey man, how do I talk to this girl? Hey man, can you draft this text for me to send to this girl? Hey man, what should I tell her? Do I tell her eyes are pretty?" Like, you're the man that I went to. You and one other of my friends.
Okay.
So, like, to hear that is really nice because we're all growing up.
Yeah.
But at one point we were like, "Oh man, I love this girl." Like, that's kind of huge, right?
I think when I met Danica, like, I just felt something that I've never felt before.
Yeah, right.
And it was different. And my main thing was, I don't want to just see this girl once and that's it.
Yeah,
I want to keep seeing her.
Yeah, right.
I want to keep seeing her, and I saw a very good human in her.
Yep.
And I wanted to not ever let that human down.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you felt a sense of, I owe it to me and to her to be the best version of myself, kind of.
Yeah, I just wanted her to be mine.
You wanted her, yeah. Well, you saw what you wanted, you went after it. And you changed as well, right? So
it
wasn't
changed
just like
so much about me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, as in not meaning like the stuff that, the person who I am
not
at
the
my core.
Yeah.
Not at my core, but like a lot of the nonsense and stuff that I did.
Who wants shots?
Yeah.
The less that
all
kind
that
of shit.
stuff, like, I started to want to be more of a man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And
that's really nice to hear, man. Like, I've known you for so long,
Thanks.
and like I've known your whole journey.
Yeah.
I know you got married, but to actually hear that at this point when you met Danica, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I got to settle down and grow the fuck up.
That's right. Because I guess because she was a lot more serious than I was.
Yeah.
In life, she was someone that was like.
Well, it wasn't that hard, Chamika. Let's be honest, okay? It wasn't hard.
Life was just a playground for you, man.
There's monkey bars everywhere.
That's right. Right. Monkey bars, backflips.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I was like, I want to change my life to be able to spend time with this person and have a proper relationship, a marriage. And eventually kids. So I've never actually thought about kids.
Until you met Danica.
Yeah, right. And then I was just like, all right, cool. So that means I got to be at home to be able to, be there for them.
Ferndara was taking too much of your time to do that.
That's right.
So it seems like you kind of pre-planned
pretty
your
much
happiness over, I guess, necessarily a career or hip hop.
Yeah. And especially because I did it for 10 years, I was like, I don't want to keep doing this. And that's the next thing. I also felt it wasn't fair to the people. You got to understand, because you MC weddings now.
Yeah.
This is the most important day for people.
Yeah. Man.
Right? Like, at that moment, it feels like this is their everything. And I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And they're spending so much money as well.
That's right.
So you have a sense of more pressure on you as a photographer,
man.
right?
And it's so not fair. If I rock up and I'm just like, oh, yeah, cool, like, I'll do this like a template. Yeah, it's not fair.
It's not fair. You want to make it special and unique, I guess.
Yeah, and once I realized I'm not passionate about it, I'm not trying to do anything different for each wedding, I was like, okay, cool.
This is my time to exit.
Yeah, this isn't fair, and it's only fair that someone passionate about it continues doing it that way.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not for me anymore.
Was it an easy conversation to have with your other business partner that wanted to continue? Because I feel like... Because I know you guys were very close.
Yes,
I feel like
we
it's
were.
a tough one to have.
Yeah, it was, but he was very understanding as well.
Yeah.
And he was also giving me all these other options. You can work less, you can do this, you can do that. There was all these options that he threw at me.
And
right?
You're like...
And I was like, nah, man.
Your passion had gone.
And that's the thing with me. If it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
Right?
You're an all or nothing kind of guy.
Yeah.
You always have been.
Yeah. Right? And once I get into my mind like it's done, it's finished.
Yeah.
Right? So...
Cool, man.
Yeah, so and then I exited, and then and I
put it all on black.
Put it all on black, pretty much, man. And then started a creative agency.
Yep.
Which I wanted it to be a content creation agency.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of videos and stuff because I saw like some really cool gym videos, real estate videos, real estate agent videos.
That's right. Yeah. So I wanted to specialize in real estate.
Yep. Cool.
Real estate marketing, and then the rest of it, a lot of e-commerce, a lot of business content for people that run their own businesses or
run their own finance companies, perhaps.
Pretty much.
Got to keep that in mind.
Right.
I know a guy.
Exactly. Right. So making content, engaging content as the trends change.
Yeah, your quality is amazing.
Thanks, man.
Like even from early days in Ferndara.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm a photographer by any means, but I know what looks nice.
Yeah.
And looks aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
Pleasing, right?
Yeah. Well,
and
that's the only thing I kind of understand.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then along the way, obviously learning business and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Right. But the main thing, I think this is something you're very good at as well. We love talking to people and really knowing what is going on in their life.
Yeah.
Right. That you become friends with so many people. Right.
Man.
And you're great at that.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a favorite part of my jobs. All of them. Yeah.
And that's probably how you got into MCing, right?
Yeah, man. Well, the MC thing started because the same as your photography thing.
Yeah.
Because I did a bunch of 21st actually, man. I used to MC 21st because I was funny or whatever.
Yeah.
And then my mate's like, do you want to do a wedding? And I'm like, yeah, okay. And then after 2-3 weddings, my mate's like, hey, do you want to do my other friend's wedding?
Yeah.
And then I just decided, you know what, I want to interview the bride and the groom. And then got to hear their whole love story. Beautiful. Made a funny, did an intro, played some games around, questions around their life.
Yep.
And
Very cool.
Someone at that wedding was like, hey, how do you know the bride? And I'm like, oh, I don't.
Nice.
I'm just hired.
So you just
same as your photography thing, man. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you're a natural at that stuff. And you don't get stage fright, do you?
Thanks, man. Nah, man, I don't. But thank you. That's really nice to hear. Yeah. I live off maybe I'm just an attention seeker, dude.
You love the adrenaline, man.
Yeah, it is.
You're always an adrenaline junkie.
You gotta be, man. You gotta be. Like, especially when you're an entertainer.
Yeah.
Whether it's photography, dancing, or you're in that kind of space. Like, I've always felt like it's so imperative that you're high energy. Like, even just to get pumped up for this podcast, man. What did you suggest? Let's get Red Bulls.
Red Bull, yeah,
Red Bulls, right?
Yep.
Because we want to be pumped up, ready to go.
That's right.
Because our demeanor and our personalities are
it's
extroverted.
everything, right? Yeah, we are very extroverted.
Absolutely.
As you get older, can I ask you a question? As you get older, do you find that extrovert thing, right? Do you find yourself staying at home sometimes and just like, you need that time now?
That's such a good question. Because everyone sees me, 100%. It's like I'm on cocaine all the time, right?
Yeah. You're 100 miles per hour.
100 miles per hour. Always have been. Yeah. And what I've realized is I'm kind of all or nothing with that.
Yeah.
So I'm here 100% working 9 to 5, then my 5 to 9, whatever this is, and then my other side gigs as well. But then I love going home and 2-3 hours sitting on my ass just watching Netflix, and I don't want anyone here.
Yeah.
I'll put my phone away and that's it.
When you were younger, did you have that?
No.
I've noticed that as well, man.
Yeah, I did have that.
I could go from group to group to group to person to person to person and never stop.
But now we need that recovery.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah. Like, I even watch movies with the subtitles on, man.
Why, you don't want sound?
No, I have sound too.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm just thinking... That's when I knew I was getting old, man. Like, what do you do for like life or death situations? Well, sometimes I watch movies with the sound and the subtitles on. You get to that point where I'm becoming my dad.
Yeah, yeah. I need to know exactly.
I need to know exactly what's happening in the context of it.
I get you.
And it's just like, I think it's a sign of us slowing down too.
Yeah, that's true.
And I do so much outside. I don't know, you work out and hit the gym a lot as well, but it's just like, it's different, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it is. And you're right. You need a lot of come down to recharge now and.
The recovery's hard.
Yeah, hit it again, and you know, yeah, man. So, like I was saying, the networking thing, right? So we talk to people not to network, but because we're genuinely interested in people.
Curious creatures,
right?
Yeah.
Like I genuinely wanted to know, and doing weddings for so long, met so many people, man.
So many cool people, right?
Right? People that are doing lots of different things, and I genuinely were interested in like people that were doing different things.
Yeah.
Right? And not just different things, like if for me it's like you don't need to be doing anything different, but if you're really passionate about what you're doing, I'm like drawn to you. Like you could be doing your finance stuff.
Yeah.
If you're loving it and you're absolutely living it and breathing it,
living the
like
dream, man.
I love that. Like
your
energy just like pulls me in, right?
Man, we are aligned there.
Yeah.
I think it's not what they do; it's how hard they do it.
That's right. How hard you love it.
on a mug, I like someone should make a mug with that.
Right. So, I met some really cool people in different fields, different industries. So transition into creative agency, look, it wasn't that hard. It was more like in my own head.
Yeah.
Is it going to be all right? Am I going to be
Yeah.
that stuff? But deep down, I know enough people that are doing all these different things, that run different businesses, that I can
be okay.
Yeah, and they've given me their trust before with certain things, and I can do work for them.
But do you ever get worried that now you got a wife and a kid that I got to provide for them? Because I know you're very similar to me in that it's like we're providers.
Yeah.
And like Ferndara being so well and making the good money that he did for you, going from that to nothing, you're like, now I got a wife or a girlfriend or a fiance, and now I'm probably gonna have kids.
Yeah.
Does that ever like play in your mind? Like I got to protect them, not just physically, but like financially.
Well, I started. It's crazy that you say that, because I started, and then I started to it started to pick up and ramp up.
Yep.
And then me and Danica found out we're pregnant.
Yeah.
And I think that buckled me a lot.
Oh, so it wasn't planned.
It wasn't planned, meaning we were more just like, we're married.
It might happen.
Yeah, and if it does, we're cool with it. Yeah, we're fine with it, right? And it happened.
Chamika doesn't miss, ladies and gentlemen.
I did not miss that time, right? So it happened, and then I was like, okay, cool, like this. And for me, because I exited to be that person, to have that life, I was like, okay, cool. There's only so much work I can do without it cutting into what I wanted. Yeah, what I wanted. So I was like, okay, cool. You got to balance this out, man. You got to figure it out. So I was working, and we had an infant, and it was only doing so well. Yeah. Right. And at that time, like, I had some debt and everything as well. So and we were just, it was weird, because Danica's not someone that cares about too much either. She wants a beautiful life with well spent memories, like memories
over materialistic
that's
items.
right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it wasn't hard in that sense. I never had pressure from her.
Yeah.
Right. And we were spending lots of time together, but in the back of my mind, I was like, how am I going to do this, man? Like,
we don't show that to the women in our lives, right?
Exactly. Right. So you got to, you play it cool, and but there's lots of times where she's like, hey, what's going on? And
she
like,
knows.
They know, right? If you're close to your wife, she knows.
Yeah. And you'd hope you are.
Yeah.
That's a different episode.
Oh, dear. How to be close to your wife.
How to be close to your wife.
With Tanila.
Under her coconut tree. Oh, no, it's terrible. Anyway, continue.
So, I was only willing to put so many hours into it. Yeah. Right? But something that I learnt along the way, man, it always works out. It always works out. Yeah, cool. If there's obstacles, it will take longer.
Yeah.
Right? But as long as you don't give up, as long as you're not doing nothing, right? If you're chipping away bit by bit, it will happen. It may not be at the pace you want. Yep. Right? But if you want it to be faster, then work harder. Put in more hours, right?
Yeah, it reminds me of my favorite quote that I live by, and I think my sister's sick of me saying it. It's consistency beats natural talent 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Right? And consistency, if you're consistent and you're not putting in, if you put in 100% every single day, you're probably going to get burnt out, right? But if you're putting in about 80, 70% and then taking care of yourself with the rest of it,
long lasting,
you're probably going to go for longer, man.
Yeah.
Right? And, and that's something that I chipped away at slowly. And I struggled with, because you want to get further. Yeah. Right? And you have to do more work. But then when you do the work, you also miss out a lot on, family and those things. So that's a huge balancing act that I had to,
I think you've done it well, man. Like I said, I watch you from more afar now, because, you got a family and we've got our own lives. And I think you're doing life right, man. I just want you to know that.
So. I hope
I think you are, man.
Thanks, man.
Like, I've known you for 3 decades, and I can safely say that you're doing life right, and it's very wholesome. Yeah. And it's something that I think I find what family truly means. And I think family is very important.
Yeah. Family's important.
And I think it's awesome that, you're doing that and spending time with them. And I think you definitely made the right decision stepping away.
Thanks, man.
When you felt like your heart wasn't in it, because your heart belonged to your family.
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
right.
that kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, exactly.
No, good on you, man.
Thanks, man.
But I do have a couple random questions.
Yeah,
now.
go for it.
So look at you, man. You're a brown kid that grew up in Melbourne that didn't go to uni, that flunked out of year 12, and I'm quoting you here.
Yeah.
You got dreadlocks, you got a whole bunch of tattoos.
Yeah.
Bro, like, what did the aunties say growing up, bro?
Oh man.
Me lamia ya rastia dukarek.
You said it. You said it just before. Your mum loved me.
My mum did love you.
See, all the aunties love me, bro.
Yeah. So,
all the aunties.
But
love me.
did you ever get worried? Like, because you're tatted up hard, right?
Yeah, but like,
I have no issues with it.
Yeah.
But like, generally, the stigma behind it.
Yeah, I think. Look, if you don't know me.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. An auntie might be like, "What's wrong with that guy?" Right?
Yeah.
You know, he's a bit weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think everyone that does know me knows it doesn't change who I am.
Yeah.
It's just my look. I like to look a certain way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite ink, man?
Oh man, I have so many that I don't know what my
one that you can
favorites
show
are.
the camera that's like, I guess, kind of visible.
Because
you're tatted up, what, all full arms?
Both arms.
Yep.
Upper back,
Back out.
chest, ribs,
Yeah.
and hopefully I'll get my legs done.
Dude, I remember when you got your first tattoo.
Which one was my first?
I think it was here.
That was my second.
No,
I
see.
got this like little.
Oh, the little thing
little
here.
tramp stamp.
The
here
tramp stamp.
Because I was so scared. I was like, I wonder what it's gonna be like, and if it's crap, I don't want people to see
Yeah, it was like this big. I remember.
Yeah,
Okay,
so I got this little one, and then the second one was this one.
That one, I remember
Yeah,
that one. Yeah,
I got that one.
Do you have something cool here? Like, is it a Buddha thing somewhere?
Yeah, I
yeah.
got-
That one looked cool.
Yeah, got a whole. So yeah, so I got heaps, man.
How many hours, man? Like,
Man, I think altogether, I would have easily done like 25, 30 hours easily.
that's wild, man.
Yeah, easily.
And when you get the legs up, that'd be another 25, 30 hours. at
Probably
least.
more, man.
Probably more, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not looking forward to it. The older you get, your pain threshold gets lower and lower.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, yeah, cool.
So so I'll probably have to hit it smaller
Yeah,
sessions.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll get there.
If you could go back, right,
Yeah.
over the last 30 years and all the crazy shit that you've done, and
Yeah.
you have done a lot of crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like, I've been to your house parties, man. So and I was a nerdy kid, I was like
Yeah.
nerdy little, goody two-shoes kid. And you guys are doing
Hey,
all
but
kind
you were
of-
always down.
I was always down.
Yeah, you
I was
were
always
always
down. I
down.
just wanted to be with the cool kids.
Yeah.
I was like, I know more than Pythagoras theorem, guys.
There wasn't a house party that the cops didn't rock up back then.
There was a lot. What's the... I hope you talk about the Royal Melbourne Hotel incident.
Oh, no.
Where the cops did. There was a few...
They came and took us.
They came and took you home. They took you to the cop shop. But anyway, but what would be like you can talk about it if you want, but like it's just like what would be like the funniest or the most random, like dumb things or exciting things that's happened if you can narrow down like 2 or 3 over the last 30 years. Well, realistically, from when you were 15, I guess.
Some of the funniest things. I'll name one.
Yeah.
When you and me just randomly were bored and decided to plank naked.
Forgot about that.
Like, why?
That was so random.
That was so random.
I remember you called me like, hey man, do you want to go plank? People don't know what planking is. Explain. Maybe we should explain. It's been a while, right?
They would know.
They would know. If they didn't.
So you just what is it? You become a plank.
You
You're
become a
basically
plank on random places in random
Yeah.
like funny locations.
Yeah.
And you take a picture and you upload it to social
We had
media.
a phase of that. It was so
We
weird.
did. And I remember you calling me about this.
Yeah.
You called me. It was like 9 or 10 p.m.
Yeah.
middle of the night.
Yeah.
You're like, hey man, I'm coming over.
Yeah.
We're gonna go planking. And
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. Like, and
That's what I mean. You were always down.
I was down. Yeah.
Like, yeah, cool. Let's
Do you remember we got up on top of the basketball ring?
And we were.
We're planking across
Yeah.
the. How did we even get up there?
I don't know.
Because we weren't 6'8". Let's be honest.
we
Yeah.
boosted each other or
We boosted
something.
each other, yeah,
yeah. But you did it.
I got up because I was
You
lighter.
got up. Yeah,
And I wasn't
yeah,
strong
I
enough to
put-
take you. Yeah. Yeah.
You did it. Did
Oh.
you do it naked? I can't remember.
There may have been some nudity.
Yeah.
Yes, there has been some nudity. There's been a lot of nudity in our 20s.
That's it.
Let's
yeah.
be honest.
We,
Yeah.
we used to love getting naked for no reason.
We were naked so much in our
it was
20s,
so
man.
weird.
Like, it wasn't weird. It was weird now to look at it.
Now we're looking back, it's like, why?
But if I went back and I would say, would I be less naked? No.
No.
I was happy being
that
naked.
was good.
I was happy being naked around you, bro.
Yeah, man. That was good. That was good. Like, we can't be naked now.
We can't be naked now. Like, we've got
just weird.
lives and businesses and kids, But in our 20s, good thing not everything was on social media then, or
Yeah, that's the
CCTV,
thing.
because otherwise we couldn't be running businesses.
But we
right
still
now.
posted dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the planking.
Have you ever gone back on your timeline?
Yes.
And did you delete stuff?
No.
Yeah, good.
Why would I
Good
delete
on
it?
you. Yeah, true.
I'm proud of everything that I've done,
That's
man.
true.
All the dumb shit I've done, I'm like, yeah. I was actually talking about the Royal Melbourne Hotel incident with a friend the other day.
Yeah.
And I remember so well, man. I won't go into details. I won't go into details.
I don't remember it so well because I've blocked it out.
Okay. So I don't want to talk about it?
No, go.
I remember this one point.
Yeah.
You guys, because we got along well. Like, your crew and me got along well. And I remember, like, to get to my second group of friends, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I had to go through all you boys.
Yeah.
And it was like a cramped alleyway.
Yeah.
Right? And then I just went to say hi to my friend, who I'm not going to say who it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, man, I'm going. And I was with my ex at the time.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the hotel or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you boys wouldn't let me go through to say bye to him because you blocked off the cordon for him to exit.
Okay. Keep going.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I'm going through. And I went through.
Yeah.
And I'm coming back and he's like, I can't go through. I was like, why? Because Chamika and the boys are blocking the entrance to hit me. I was just like, okay.
Oh, man. This was...
we were 20 and dumb, man. We were 20 and dumb. And I remember...
how stupid we were.
I remember afterwards, the aftermath, there was no point going into, but I remember we spoke about it afterwards and we were like, probably shouldn't happen that.
And it was never us.
It was never us.
Someone always instigated things.
I'm not going to get involved.
Yeah, I'm not getting
But
in
isn't
there.
it funny, like, how much we've grown when we look back?
Yeah.
All the dumb shit we did back
But I wouldn't
then.
change any of it.
No.
No.
Yeah, the police,
Yeah.
the court orders, everything, we keep it the same.
Keep it the same.
Man.
It gave us good memories.
It did, man.
Yeah.
And, like, I look back on it now, it's actually fond memories.
Yeah,
because,
exactly,
like,
man.
whether it was the dancing we did, the martial arts,
Yeah.
all the other dumb shit during uni, the planking,
Yeah.
and all the shows, I look back and I'm like, it's in another 30 years.
We had a great
I'd
childhood.
be like, man, it was great.
Yeah,
You
we
know?
had a great childhood.
Bro, I'd love to get one bit of advice from
Yeah.
you before I let you go.
Yeah.
You went outside the box. You did some cool shit, different shit, and you didn't follow in that typical, I guess, pathway that was already allocated for us as migrants. What would your advice be to anyone listening, like a 10, 12, 15-year-old kid that's just like, man, I'm not good at the academics, I'm not good at the studies, it's just not working for me.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to that kid?
Yeah. My advice would be, you know, I guess I'm thinking of myself back then, and I wish someone just told me, do what is natural to you.
Yeah.
Do it, and do it at 100%, and, you know, no one else needs to understand it.
Yeah.
Right? As long as you understand it. And if you see that you're good at something and, you know, like, it is natural to you, really push it. Really push it and see where it can take you.
Yeah.
Because at worst, you'll be great at something and you'll be like, that's not what I want to do. At worst.
And try something else.
And then you move on, right? Because we live in a country, and we're so blessed for this, we live in a country where you can literally, like, today, you can change what you want to do. And, you know, and you can go learn it if you need to learn it. Or if you're naturally good at it, you can just continue doing it and show the whole world that you're doing it through social media.
Yep.
And, you know, and within 5 years or something, sometimes not even, you can make something of it. So stick to it. And, you know, and that's the one thing I want for my kids as well. Like, you don't have to go on a certain path that someone else has gone on.
Be the black sheep.
That's fine, right? But I better see you giving it 100%.
Whatever it is.
You know, and really pushing yourself.
Yeah.
Because you got to trust in that. You got to trust that you are good at something, you know? And all of us know. We know what we're good at, right? And the only thing stopping us is we limit ourselves by being like, oh, you know, I don't know if I'm that good or whatever. But you probably are. You just haven't tested it.
You haven't tested the limits.
That's it. And just give it everything, you know? And, you know, and if your parents are parents that don't understand what you're doing and, you know, there's friction there, that's fine. That's what parents are there for. They're trying to understand you, you know?
Communicate.
Yeah, communicate. Tell them. Explain to them, you know? And if they don't get it, that's fine. They may not get it at the start, you know, and bargain with them. do half of this, half of that.
Yeah.
And chip away at it. And when they see that you're consistent,
and the results are coming in,
they're gonna start getting you. They're gonna start understanding what you're doing. And
that's good advice, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. It was always it was a very nostalgic chat, which is different to the other podcasts, and it was always good to reminisce on the cute shit we did and also the dumb shit that we did too. I hope to have you again on the show, man.
Thanks,
but
brother.
to everyone else watching at home, thank you for listening to Under the Coconut Tree with Tanila. We're Chamika here today. He's done some incredible stuff with some really successful businesses. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow for our next episode. We're going to have amazing people just like Chamika coming up. Cheers.
Powered by WinLads.